Hi Stitchers, I'm Olivia. This is my channel, Olivia B, and I am here to share my cross stitch with you today. I hope you have all been doing well. Thank you for coming to watch this video. I know there's a lot of great videos out there, a lot of great channels, and I appreciate you stopping by mine. Things are going well around here. I hope they're going well for you. I've been, stitching daily, which I've been loving. If you've subscribed to my channel, you might have noticed I've uploaded some videos about applique, about a quilt along we're doing. That's not really taken away from my stitching. I try to do some quilting on the weekends, but I still stitch every day, and I love it. So this video is going to be all about cross stitch and what I've been stitching since I last saw you. Today is Saturday, August 14th. It's been about 3 months since my last video, so I have some good progress to show you. I think I'm just going to dive right into my whips, my works in progress. And yeah, got a little pile here. So just yesterday I had a new start. Yesterday was Friday the 13th, and on the 13th of the month we do Dark 13 Stitching. It's a stitch along that has been going on for a few years now, hosted by Emily C. of Eclectic Possessions and Michelle of Cozy Egg. And I actually have not started any new projects so far this year, but I didn't have any Halloween stitching left, and I decided to start something new to celebrate Friday the 13th. So I started Blackwork Pin Keep by Stacy Nash. I'm stitching this on a 40 count scrap of some Victorian Motto linen that I had from a few years ago, and I'm stitching it in Gentle Arts wrought iron instead of the DMC 310. It's like a blue black, but mostly black. And I've just kind of got the bottom there and a little horsey. But when I'm done, I think I'll probably use some walnut crystal solution to age it. If you're interested in seeing that process, which is very simple, but if you are, maybe I'll make a video, but let me know. Sometimes it's easy, it's just sometimes it's nice to see someone else go through it before you try it on your own, so let me know. But yeah, so that's a fun little stitch. I'm hoping to finish that up this weekend, actually. It's Saturday morning as I'm recording this, so if I can get some decent stitching time, I should have that done by the end of the weekend. So one of the projects that I have been pretty focused on since I last saw you is my Winchester Mystery House by Debbie Patrick. I started this one a few years ago, and so it's an older whip. It's slow stitching for me. There's a lot of confetti stitching, a lot of color changes. It's just different than what I'm used to, but it's so fun to like watch it come together. So I'm really enjoying it. But here is my progress. So I've been trying to do some of the back stitch as I go along, and that really gives it dimension. She's just a genius. I've said before, I don't know how she does it with the colors that are available in DMC. Somehow she just gets all this shading in there and all this dimension. So I'm really hoping to finish this one this year. In fact, I think after I work on the pin keep I just showed you, I think I'm going to get back to this and maybe just focus on it until I finish. You can see I've reached the edge there at the bottom, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know, I could be underestimating how much time it'll take me, but still got a couple weeks stitching this month, and if I don't finish this month, no big deal, but I think I might just focus on it until I finish it. I've kind of gotten in the groove on it. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a different kind of stitching that I'm used to, but it's just so fun to watch come together. For those of you who do full coverage designs, like the big ones, I don't know how you do it. I'm so slow at this, so I'm so impressed by your skills. I seem to do cross country stitching on these, where I'm like stick with a color for a while. It's like I can't wrap my brain around parking my threads or something. But yeah, love that one. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Lagana in Murky from Picture This Plus. It's very dense, but like a very tight weave, but I love the color. All right. The next one I'm working on is called the Black Dog Sampler by the Scarlett House. You would have seen Brenda from Brenda and the Serial Starter stitching this. or she finished it and already has it framed, I think. So it's really cute. It's just a cute little sampler. It's 6 Glorianas. I'm stitching it in the Culver silk. I'm stitching it on a 46 count linen from Extra Designs. I think I figured out that if I stitch it on 46 count, I can fit it in an 8x10 frame. I never really know until I'm finished, but this is where I'm at on that one. This is a lot of like little motifs and you know, very much like stitch a few stitches in one color and then switch kind of thing. I don't know if you can tell on here how to do some frogging. So my dog Dusty was sick in the month of July and it was pretty rough. And I was stitching on this and I was just stitching for the therapy of stitching. I just, at some point I'm like, oh, I just stitched several motifs and they're in the wrong place. And I just picked them out and restitched them. And it was just like, I just needed to stitch. It was fine if I had to undo my work and restitch it. But he's doing much better now. He injured his neck and he had digestion issues. It all started with 4th of July. 4th of July is extremely stressful for him because of all the fireworks. I'm not a fan of the holiday or the fireworks because of that. It's hard to watch him go through that every year, but this year it ended up being sick all month and he's better now. That's what I'm thankful for. So yeah, Black Dog Sampler. I would like to work on this one again in September, for Sampler September. All right. The next one is When the Calling Birds Sing. This is by Examplars from the Heart. This chart is out of print, but it's not impossible to find. You can find it out there. Some online shops still carry it. I am stitching this with some sister wives of mine, Emily C. and Stitching May and Ellen Reed. And we're all kind of doing different things with it. I am converting all of the colors. It's still, so far, it might still look kind of like the picture, but if you were to actually like pull out the DMC conversion and compare it to what I'm stitching with, it is a bit different. This was stitched in hand-dyed fibers by Vicki Clayton. Yeah, so I have been working on that one. I'm stitching some 40 count platinum by Zweigert, and I have been working on that building right here, obviously, and I made some more progress on the border. But this one's a fun stitch. It's fun picking out colors. I do find, like, you know, something, you pick out a color, you look at the floss and you think, oh yeah, that's perfect, and then you start stitching it and it's not. So like the color of the building, for example, that's like Perfect Pie Crust by Clastic Colorworks. That's like the 4th color option. So I would stitch and then I have to pull it all out, stitch, pull it all out. And I actually had that color in the inside of the windows. So once I picked it for the building, I had to pick that out and put new colors. So it's a labor of love. And hopefully it'll all come together in the final piece. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through that second building. And here and there, I'll just do a thread of fill-in, you know, when I don't feel like focusing too much. And I love this piece. I love it. It's funky, and Examplars from the Heart is one of my favorite designers, so I've been enjoying that. And my last whip to show you, these are all of my whips, by the way. I was down to 4, and then I had that new start yesterday, so I have just been working on my projects. Like I said, that Pinky was my first start of the year, so I've just been working on my projects and really been enjoying that, honestly. It's been nice to focus. There are a million things I want to stitch like everyone else, but I'm just waiting, you know, just getting through what I have right now. So this is Luz Gonzalez, 1851. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is by Samplers Remembered. This was a gift from the lovely Laura Duet, that you know is a serial starter. She sent me this chart a few years ago, and I am so thankful to her, and I think of her when I work on it. But I love these colors, and my friend Maddie really pushed me to start this one last year, and I'm glad she did. I kitted this up and started this with my friend Sue, and we kitted up when we were at the attic, and so I'm stitching it in the Aversois silks, and the linen I'm stitching it on I got from my local needlework shop, Needle in a Haystack. I'm stitching on Light Exemplar 40 count by Lakeside, And here is my progress. I worked on it quite a bit. I love those flowers. I love that big flower arrangement there. So just to show you, I've got those final 2 rows at the bottom to stitch, and Luz will be done. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through, and that's been a pleasure. They all are. So yeah, that's Luz. I love her. I hope to work on her in September as well, for Sampler September, and we'll see how we do. So I've had some finishes since the last time I saw you, which is exciting. So first up, these were recent finishes, but I have 3 small patterns that I was working on from Blackbird Designs. You can find them in the Bells on Christmas Day booklet. I received them as kits at a retreat, Primitive Traditions it was called. It was held at the Attic back in 2018, and I went with my friends Maddie and Michelle, and it was very special. And we received 4 projects from Blackbird Designs. One of them I've yet to stitch. It's a thimble bag. I think it's in that same booklet. But these 3 smalls I stitched together on one piece. If you saw my video last time, I think they were all stitched. The fabric was 36 count oaken by Picture This Plus, and I am in the middle of FFOing them. So the first one is called The Unbroken Song, and at that retreat we painted these boxes, and I don't have it right here to show you right now, but I still need to clean it up a little. So I painted the box, but there's little spots of paint and stuff on the glass that I need to clean up. But I've been working on making the piece that goes in the bottom. So I finished stitching it, and I've been wrapping it around this mat board. I don't know what I did wrong, but my finished stitched piece is not straight. It's kind of, I don't know, when I cut it out, I realized it's not straight, so I've been trying to tighten it around this board. There's batting underneath it, and I'm working on that. So when this is done and when that box is cleaned up, I'll just pop this in the bottom of it and it'll be done. The next one was Singing on Its Way. This is a pin cushion. I finished stitching it and I've sewn the backing to it. I just need to stuff it and close it up, but that's pretty cute. And then the last one is Wild and Sweet. It's a little needle book, and that one I have finished up. So it's very cute. That is so cute. And then they have it like in their finishing instructions, they hand sew it. I cheated and did some machine sewing. So, and then I guess your needles go in here. So, yeah, super cute. I love that one. So those are finished, and I just need to finish my FFOing. So I just talked about Dark 13 stitching. Well, my last 2 months of Dark 13 stitching, I ended up having finishes for both of them because it caused me to pick up some older Halloween whips. So if you're a longtime viewer, I can tell you that finally my Dark October from 2018 is complete. I've either finished all those projects or some of them were give-ups and will be restarted with different materials. But yeah, finally caught up from 2018. So let's see. June, Dark 13 stitching, I picked up Rampant Cat Sampler from Barbara Anna Designs. I love this one. Stitched this on a 40 count Extra Designs fabric, Antique Violet. Mostly in the called for DMCs. I think I converted a few to overdyes back in 2018 and then didn't keep them with the project, that kind of thing. Anyway, I finished this and it's adorable. I love those little people. I love the colors. It's just so cute. So I need to find a frame for that one. I think I calculated that this would fit in a standard frame, but I'll have to check how it came out with the final measurements with my stitching and get back to you on that. And then last month I picked up my Jenny Bean's Halloween Sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. I love this one. This I stitched on, I picked it up last Dark 13 and then stitched on it until it was done. I'm stitching this in the called for flosses or I guess when it originally came out, they had these cool flosses with like the fun names and stuff. But then she gives you the just normal ones to stitch it with, normal named ones. That's what I stitched it with. I stitched this on a piece of 40 count Lakeside linen. It's called River Willow. It's a green. And there we go. I love this one. I think this is a Halloween classic. There are some little like doodad stitches in the border that are called for that I didn't do. But Megan from Wide Eyed Stitching Child, I noticed hers. She did the vines green and the pumpkins orange, and I wish I would have thought that. I think it's adorable, but I also like it black. So I'm so glad this one's done. I have a few of her Jenny Bean patterns. I'd like to stitch those. So those are my Halloween finishes. And then finally, my big one, my oldest whip, my biggest whip, Big Red Ship of Life. I really focused on this one this year, and I finished it. Oh man. I mentioned this before in my last video, but I really want to hang this in my dining room. I just need to find the right hanging hardware. This is a big one. I stitched it big too. I stitched this with 2 strands on 32 count linen from Charles Craft. And the red is 498 from DMC. This is by Ink Circles, if I didn't mention that. The designer, Tracy Horner, her mom stitched this years and years ago, and she did this kind of color conversion where she did the blue waves and the gold sails, so that's where I got the idea. And I love it. And I think my favorite motif of all is this lady right here with the ship in her hand. I don't know why, but that's my favorite. This is quite the project, and I'm just so proud to have it finished. So those are my finishes since I last saw you. Okay, so now I have some fully framed pieces to show you that I am so excited about. I have 4 in total. So the first one I'm going to show you is when I frame myself, but I bought the frame, I bought a custom frame on Etsy. I'll put the name of the place that I got it from because I really like their service and their product. So this is my Tom Petty tribute piece. This is called Starry Night Sampler. It's by the City Stitcher. I did convert some of the flosses. I obviously changed the name in the middle. But I got this is what do you call it, burl frame from that shop, and it has a acrylic here, and I think it's museum quality, if I remember correctly. This wasn't a cheap frame, but it's a quality frame, and obviously it's cheaper than sending it to a custom framer, but yeah, I really like how it came out, and I love this piece. It's a tribute to my favorite. So yeah, so that's my Starry Night Sampler. And then, very exciting, I sent 3 pieces to Total Framing. I sent them about the end of February, and they came back to me in July. Total Framing is in Virginia. I'm in California. And I believe they have maybe one person who does all of their needlework framing. The quality is amazing. The way it works is you ship your stuff out there, if you're doing shipping, if you're not, close by, and they give you a call when they receive it, and they let you know how the whole process works. And then eventually you receive text messages with different options for the framing, which for me is like so amazing, because I have a very hard time picking out frames, and I also, when there's a lot of options, it's very intimidating for me. I get overwhelmed and I never know what to pick. So they sent like 3 or 4 options for each piece that I sent them, and they tell me the pricing for each one, and I picked my favorites. And then, you know, they make the frames, and then they frame them. It takes a while. They have, I'm sure, a big backlog. But for me, it's completely worth the wait. I don't have a problem waiting for it, because if I wasn't, sorry, Dusty's on the couch and almost fell. Poor guy. One second. Sorry about that. There's a couch under the window that looks out onto the street, and he loves to stand on the arm of the couch and look out the window. But he's, you know, he's getting up there in years, and his legs get tired and he gets frustrated. And, but he slipped a little. Anyway, he's fine. So going back to total framing, so they. Oh, I was saying I don't mind waiting, because if they weren't with them, they'd be in my closet, if I'm honest with myself. So anyway, I was very excited about these. I saved up and sent them to them. It's not cheap, especially because I ship them, but it's also very fair, in my opinion, fairly priced considering the quality of the frames and the work that they do. I can't afford to send all my pieces to total framing, but for the really special ones, it's worth it. So that's what I want to show you. So this first one that I'm going to show you, this is one of my favorite designs, and this is Blackbird Fraktur from Plum Street Samplers. Something about this piece, I just absolutely love it. I mean, I love blackbirds, and I just, the way that these are designed, the colors that are used, I just think it's gorgeous. So for me, it was worth it to have this one framed by Total Framing, and it will go up on the bird wall that I'm creating in my bedroom. So that's number one. I love this piece. Next year, I plan on stitching Friends of the Heart from Plum Street Samplers. I feel like that's kind of a companion to this one in a way. And I also have Autumn Fraktur, which I would like to stitch. So they just all seem to have similar colors and similar kind of design aspect. But yeah, so I love that one. This one is a piece that I stitched earlier on in my stitching, and I finished it back in 2017. This is Angelica by Lavender and Lace. It's one of the angels. Well, I'm just going to show it to you. So admittedly, angels aren't really something that I have around. This isn't very me. I don't know how to explain it. I think the Lavender and Lace angels are beautiful, and they're amazing the way they're designed, in my opinion. I wouldn't really, it's just not the common decor at my house, but this style of artwork, like the pre-Raphaelite, arts and crafts movement, that kind of time that I feel is very influenced, I love that. And so this angel, when I originally saw it, I just knew I wanted to stitch it, and it was a very enjoyable stitch, and it's beautiful. And then it was done, and I didn't know what to do with it because I wasn't sure how to frame her. Because again, it's just not something that I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't know how to do it. It's not something I've done before. And actually, at Total Framing, they told me this was the most challenging one because they ask you for, like, what's your style? What do you like? I like kind of primitive, traditional wood for samplers, that kind of thing. And this isn't really primitive. So, but they have an eye. So that was one of the reasons I sent this to Total Framing, was because I just felt at a loss. I really didn't know how to frame this, and I never could have done anything like this. And my dear friend Emily threatened that she would divorce me if I did not finally frame her, because she'd been hanging in my closet for years. And I love how she came out. So that is Angelica by Lavender and Lace, and I adore her. All right, so I have saved, I think, my favorite and the biggest for last. And Uffindell by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I absolutely love this sampler. I love stitching it, and I knew I would be saving up to have it framed professionally, and I'm so glad I did. They really, again, amazing work. So this is Anne Uffindell in her frame. Show you a close-up of the frame right there. And I just love how she came out. And yeah. What can I say? When I got her, it's like, all right, she's going front and center. And when I walk down the hallway, I walk down every day to go kind of like where the front door is. She's right there. And this has museum glass, and you can see a slight reflection if I have it across in the window, but when it's hanging on the wall, it's like you can't even see the glass. So that's Anne Uffindell. So grateful to Total Framing for doing such a great job. And for my most special pieces, I will send them to them in the future. I think my plan is to save up to send Luz Gonzalez there when I finish her. So it was awesome. Quite the package to receive. I actually received it earlier in July, and Dusty was, like I said, was sick at the time, and I was just I was sick over it, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to open my Total Framing package until things have gotten to a point where either, he's better or, things are at peace. And I did. I held out for a few weeks of opening that package. I put it away in the garage, and I said, I just don't want to be, I don't want to be stressed out or upset when I open that package, and it was worth the wait. And yeah, so I'm so happy to have those pieces. All right, so that brings us to the haul and Happy Meal segment here. I had to double check that this was right, but it is. In the last 3 months, I have only purchased one cross-stitch chart, believe it or not. I bought it off eBay. It is called The Flowers of One Garden by Midsummer Night Designs. I just thought that was beautiful. The flowers, the red house, the lawn scene. It's a big one though. It's 315 by 385. But that's the one chart I purchased. But I did go to my local needlework shop, Needle and Haystack, just yesterday, and I could not help myself, and I bought some linens. So I thought I would show those. I don't usually show linens because it's hard to get the colors right, but I thought I'd at least give it a shot. So this first one is a fat quarter of 40 count. These are all 40 count. That's just my sweet spot. This is Vintage Meadow Rue by Lakeside Linens. I can't tell if the color's coming across right. I'll just do my best. And then this is a 1/8 of Vintage Sand Dune by Lakeside Linens. Just a beautiful, yeah, it doesn't really come across, but just beautiful. And a fat quarter of Vintage Maple Sugar by Lakeside Linens. This is a beautiful color. It's like a very, very light purpley gray type color. And the last one is Toasted Almond by Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I stitched Cooper by Kathy Barrick on this fabric and I loved it. Just a beautiful neutral. So yeah, that was my linen indulgence. I bought a few flosses too. Gentle Arts. Yeah, but then I also received some Happy Mail. This was just complete random act of kindness. Amy Jepson, she does not have a Flosstube channel, but you might know her from comments or from Instagram. And she found my channel and she contacted me and she said, we have very similar tastes and I have some stash that my daughters aren't, really interested in this craft and I would like to share some things with you. And she sent me a very generous box and she sent me some cross-stitch patterns and then she also sent me some beautiful quilting fabric scraps and books and kits, and I will share the quilting stuff in my next Quilty2 video, but I wanted to show you the cross-stitch charts that she sent me. Amy, thanks again. This was just the loveliest package and we do have very similar tastes, so that was exciting. This is Good Dog Marking Sampler by Pineberry Lane. So cute. I think that'd be a really cute stitch on a project bag. She sent me the Berry Bowl Sampler from Heartstring Samplery in the Scarlett House. I know a lot of you stitching this one. Autumn Alphabet by Willow Hill Samplings. And then Stacy Nash. I love my Stacy Nash. Redwork Stitching Pocket and Shadowing. I think that looks like a lot of fun. That would be a fun FFO. Henrietta from the Animal Crackers series. So cute. And then I love this Summer Garden Sewing Roll and Needle Book. This is designed exclusively for the Orange Coast Sampler Guild. And she sent me finishing materials for this needle book. So I really want to stitch that. This is beautiful. So thank you so much, Amy. Really appreciate that. Just so nice of you, just out of the blue like that. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm gonna regret forgetting later on. Not that I can think of. Yeah, just keep stitching. I hope you're able to do some stitching. Watching lots of Flosstube as usual, and just getting through the summer. Very, very dry here, unfortunately. It's kind of sad, but that's the Bay Area. Yeah, it hasn't been crazy hot, knock on wood, but I feel like we're just kind of waiting for it, like it'll come. Yeah, and not really traveling with COVID the way it is, but that's okay. I like my house. Anyway, I hope that you are doing well. I appreciate you watching my video. Hopefully it won't be 3 months again before the next one, but it tends to be how it works for me. But there will be other content too with quilting involved. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.